Jellies can sting, and if it happens to you, do you know the best remedy? Our Inspector Planet is putting the common theories to the test.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tracy Fanara. I'm an environmental engineer, which means that I use different scientific disciplines to protect the environment, humans, and wildlife. At Mote Marine Laboratory, I use investigation and myth-busting to answer questions. They are beautiful, aren't they?
Oh, they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but they're a little bit dangerous too.
They are. They've made it through 16 million years. 95% water, just this fragile gelatin structure. They've made it through because of their defense mechanisms, their tentacles, and their ability to release toxin.
But I know that there is a natural way that we can take care of this.
A lot of people think that. I think it calls for an investigation.
All right, let's do it.
Experiment time. What is the most interesting thing about jellyfish?
So jellyfish don't have brains, but they've been living for over 650 million years. So
They should have went to the Wizard of Oz.
they should have.
Can you tell me a little bit about the differences between species and their venom?
So jellyfish, all species, have different amounts of venom. So the sting of the moon jellyfish, which are right behind us here, are different than, say, a sea nettle or an upside down jellyfish, or even our Portuguese man-o-war, which we've heard are pretty bad. And so each jellyfish has a different set of venom in which to catch different prey. So like these moon jellyfish don't have a real potent sting at all. So they actually will grab very small critters and very small chemicals out of the waters.
So we're going to test some remedies for jellyfish stings. What we have here is some upside down jellyfish. They're not the typical jellyfish that you see with the really long tentacles. Instead, they release the toxin into a mucus layer into the water. Now we know that they don't have brains. How they release that venom is biomechanically from any kind of mechanical or chemical stimulus. We're going to test the pH, the salinity, among other chemical parameters. And then we're going to test it against some typical remedies that you hear about all the time: urine, meat rub, and white vinegar. So let's get started. Interns, bathroom. So what we're going to do, I added some fresh water in here to try to change that osmotic pressure. I'm also going to try to mechanically stimulate that venom release by mixing them up and it's making them not happy, basically. All right, so let's do this test. So first we're going to test the pH, and the reason why we're going to do that is to show that the jellyfish venom is slightly alkaline, meaning that it's more basic than acidic. So we want a remedy that will be more acidic than basic to neutralize that sting. Next, we're going to test the pH of vinegar, which, well, we know that vinegar is an acid. Next, the meat rub, where one of my scientists swears by meat rub as a remedy for jellyfish stings. We're also going to test the salinity when it comes to urine, and that's because we know that adding fresh water changes that osmotic pressure and causes those nematocysts to release, and that can happen even after the tentacle is disengaged from the jellyfish body. So let's test that. So looking at the pH alone, we see why urine isn't the best solution. Now we see that for Chloe and Willie, their pH was slightly basic, close to neutral though. And we saw for Shannon that her pH is around a 6, which is only slightly acidic. So if we were going to use somebody's urine for a jellyfish sting, Shannon gets the win. But we saw from our probe analysis that, in fact, that we didn't have the salinity that we would want. Throwing your pee on your jellyfish sting would cause those nemocytes to keep on releasing that venom. It is a bad idea. At best, it does absolutely nothing for your jellyfish sting. So let's look at our other options. First, the meat rub. Well, that scientist here at Moat that uses meat rub for jellyfish stings, he's onto something, because it's actually acidic and can potentially neutralize that jellyfish sting. And our last is vinegar. And the great thing about vinegar is that it's really acidic, which we knew coming in, so we knew that that was going to be probably our most viable option, our most viable remedy for a jellyfish sting. In addition, vinegar has proved to disengage those nemocytes from firing their venom. So when you get stung by a jellyfish, the first thing that you want to do is use that vinegar. Even before you try to get those tentacles off, you want to make sure that those tentacles can't release that venom when you're mechanically taking those tentacles off. You don't want to use fresh water because that can potentially, as we said before, increase the amount of venom released. So remember guys, anyone could be a scientist or an engineer with some passion, hard work, and innate curiosity of how the world works. Never thought I would get a PhD to do this. Oh, that could have been bad. There's a bunch of bad things happening.